Hello, my little toads. It's time for chapter 2 of Soup on Ice. Here's the picture that's at the beginning of this chapter, and I guess we're going to figure out who these people are. Egypt, said Miss Kelly. Our teacher was standing at a large map of some place she had pinned up against a wall near the stove. Perhaps, said Miss Kelly, the 3 wise men came from Egypt, riding their camels on that first Christmas Eve. Using her long pointer, Miss Kelly touched a location on the map that I could have sworn was South America. I yawned. Geography wasn't my favorite subject. I looked at Norma Jean Bissell, who was my favorite subject. Centuries ago, said Miss Kelly, the land of Egypt was ruled by the pharaohs. And yesterday we all learned that Pharaoh is the name of a poker game, said Janice. Next to me, Soup snickered, but he didn't do it out loud. Nobody in his right mind would laugh at Janice Reichert, even if he thought Janice's right mind was wrong. Behind me, I heard the familiar snarl of Eddie Thacker's rasping voice. No, it ain't, Eddie mumbled. Up front, I saw Miss Kelly stand an inch taller and stiffen her crowbar spine. What would a crowbar spine be? Be somebody who stands stick straight, right? Edward, she said, if you have a contribution to make, please recite it to the entire class. Okay, said Eddie, because everybody knows a pharaoh is a litter of pigs. I knew that Janice and Eddie could often be as wrong as sin, and a nudge from Soup's elbow told me that maybe he thought so too. Well, said Miss Kelly, in a certain sense, both of you are correct. She chalked the 3 words on our blackboard. Pharaoh, F-A-R-O, is a card game. And a farrow, F-A-R-R-O-W, is a pig litter. It is? A kid asked her. Miss Kelly smiled. Indeed, the pharaoh in Egypt, however, was an ancient king, a ruler who lived thousands of... Miss Kelly paused to listen. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Whoa, and a ho, 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 a voice merrily yelled from outside our schoolhouse. For certain, I recognized the sound, sleigh bells. I knew better than to leave my bench and go racing to the window, an impetuous act that Miss Kelly's hardwood ruler would not condone. Did you know, little toads, that back in the day in school, like even when I was a little girl, that a teacher could discipline you by making you hold your hand out and then hitting you with her ruler several times? That was not against the law. Amazing. Miss Kelly, however, did go to the window to look outside and then smile. She turned back to us. Class, she said, we have a visitor. We all hooted. Anything that would disrupt the pangs of Egypt and the rest of South America was, in my mind, a blessing. But our teacher warned us in a quiet voice, we shall all exhibit our company manners. Yes'm, most of us said. After a moment or two, the heavy door of our 1-room school burst open, and in she came, stomping snow off her boots and jingling her strands of sleigh bells. The wind came too, blowing arithmetic papers and scattering pages of homework into one big unruly mess. Our visitor also carried a brown paper bag. Howdy, howled Miss Boland. With a thrust of her burly arm, she closed the door, turned, and faced Miss Kelly, who was one of her closest lifelong friends. Once inside, Miss Boland pulled off her mittens, loosened her giant winter coat, and hung it on a peg. Miss Boland was our county nurse. Okay, so there's Miss Boland. There. And I guess that's Miss Kelly. So now we know who they are. Miss Boland was our county nurse. She was in charge of everyone's health, and some people claimed that because of her tremendous dimensions, that means she was kind of a large, maybe a stout woman, she shouldn't have been just a nurse. Miss Boland was more the size of a hospital. That's kind of rude. Her totally white outfit appeared to be more starch than fabric. When she walked across the floor of our little school, her uniform rustled like a litter of kittens beneath a mussed-up Sunday newspaper. I grinned. When good old Miss Boland popped in at school, it usually meant exciting news. As it turned out, today was no exception to the custom. We're all set, Miss Boland proclaimed, and it's really going to happen right here in Learning at the Village Square on Christmas Eve. Wonderful, said Miss Kelly. Turning to us, our teacher asked, "Class, would you like to hear about Miss Boland's surprise?" "Yes'm," we responded. All of us answered, I noticed, with the exception of Allie Tidwell. About a week ago, I'd been talking to Allie before school, and he told me that he didn't believe a whole lot in Christmas. It sounded sad the way he said it, but then he also said something nice. Allie hoped some of the little kids believed in Santa Claus. Up front, Miss Boland was doing most of the talking, as she usually did, concerning her upcoming surprise. "Well," said Miss Boland, warming her hands at the stove, then resting her white bulk in Miss Kelly's desk chair. "You've all seen the giant spruce tree downtown in the village park." We nodded. "This year on Christmas Eve, we're going to string lights on it, all colors, and we'll have the biggest and brightest Christmas tree in all Vermont." Her announcement sure spread a grin on my face. Soup was also smiling, but then he leaned closer to whisper in my ear, "I wonder what Miss Boland brought inside the paper bag." It made me wonder too, and it also made me hope that Allie Tidwell would become a bit more enthusiastic about Christmas. Maybe if we encouraged Allie a mite, he would. "Now then," said Miss Boland with a dramatic wave of her white sleeve, "I suppose all of you are curious about what's inside this little sack, so I'll tell you. Christmas presents. One for every girl and boy in the school." We all cheered. "Not so fast," Miss Kelly warned us. "Because you see, Miss Boland and I have decided it's best that you receive your presents at our party after," she paused. "Here it comes," said Soup. "After all of you next Monday have handed in the themes that I assigned you to compose on the subject of what I wish for Christmas. 2 pages long." Silently, I moaned. For me, writing a 2-page composition was about as enjoyable as having my backside inoculated by a 6-inch needle. And the agony lasted a whole lot longer. Yet I wondered what our presents were. As though she were reading my secret thoughts, Miss Boland held up her brown bag and shook it. Sure enough, something was inside. Miss Kelly cleared her throat. "Yes, I realize that we're all excited because Christmas vacation is almost here. Let's see, I lost my place. Still, we shall persevere, as I expect you to do your very best on your compositions." Taking the paper bag from Miss Boland, our teacher placed it in a bottom drawer of her desk, closed the drawer, and locked it with a key. "Well," Miss Kelly asked us, "what do we always say when a friend like Miss Boland brings us a present for our upcoming school party?" "Thank you," we dutifully chorused. Miss Boland grinned. "You're all more than welcome, you kids." Rising from the chair, Miss Boland marched across the room, her unbuckled galoshes, that's like big snow boots, flapping like the wings of giant black bats. At the door, she bundled herself into her heavy winter coat. Miss Kelly thanked her again for coming. "Oh," said Miss Boland, twisting around to look at us, "I near to forgot my other surprise. You youngsters are in for a special treat, and very soon." In anticipation, I held my breath. Miss Boland smiled. "Because you're all going to try your doggone hardest on writing a theme, here's the special surprise. Somebody important will be coming to town on Christmas Eve to sing carols with us round the big lighted up tree." "Who?" we asked. "Well," teased Miss Boland as she jingled her sleigh bells again, "this particular visitor is a large gentleman who wears a bright red suit and only comes to town at Christmas time." "Santa Claus!" we hollered in glee, all of us except for one single kid, Allie Tidwell. I wonder what Allie's story is. I guess we're going to find out. That's the end of chapter 2.